Hello and welcome to the Slapshot Syndicate podcast. Be sure to subscribe for more content, and whilst you're at it, go and follow our social media pages. They're on screen now. Now, on to the episode.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Slapshot Syndicate. Bit of a slower week for the Seahawks this week, boys, which we'll come into, but another good week. Some tight games, some double headers, and it just keeps throwing a few more twists as we keep going along, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was a good weekend across the board. Obviously, just a bit bittersweet for us only having the one game. So, but all in all, yeah, you can't complain, can you?
No, not at all.
Elsewhere in the league.
Yeah, true.
No, but in all seriousness, it was nice to see the league sort of catch up with itself. Obviously, a couple of teams only had one game, didn't they? So we can see a bit more of a transparent or a more reflective version of the table. So yeah, it was good. It was there's definitely some talking points this weekend at the boys. So it'll be interesting to get into it.
Absolutely. With that then, boys, let's get into Seahawks reaction. So before we get into the Hull Seahawks one game this weekend, lads, I think it's just fair that we give a shout out to another Hull lad in David Good, ex-referee at this level, an ex-Hull Stingray, who's obviously been doing a bit of charity work, doing 94 for 94, so he's walked 94 miles and some walk in it really, and the poor lad was at the game last night and he was limping, wasn't he? So fair play to him. I obviously want to make a big point about this, don't we, really, and mental health and stuff in the game. It's massive.
Yeah, spot on that, and it's things you love to see. Obviously, he's gone through hell and back just to show, raise a bit of awareness really for the project. But I don't think you can really appreciate how much that is. Obviously, seeing him walking about in the ring last night was quite a picture. But yeah, there was some videos I think of when he arrived at Hull, and obviously collapsing out of pure exhaustion. Andy stayed for the game as well. I know if that was me, I'd probably be like, stuff this, I'm off to go get a takeaway and just chill. But I bet he's got some sore legs today.
Yeah, I bet he has.
Whether he's walked, sprinted or jogged or whatever the distance, 94 miles is really decent. I think he started at the Steelers puck drop, didn't he, on Saturday night, ran all the way through the night and made it to Hull before puck drop, so absolutely fair play to him. And in the meantime as well, boys, he's raised over £1,000, I'm sure, so fair play to you. Absolutely fantastic.
Big well done, congratulations, Dave. So we'll move into Hull Seahawks then. We'll turn the tide on this one because not great news for us in this one.
Not good.
At home against the Bristol Pitbulls. Seahawks losing this one 8-6. Only game of the weekend. Did you expect a bit more?
Yeah, I did. I definitely expected us to come out of the blocks, firing on all cylinders, and maybe, like you said, taking them to the sword. With it being our only game, you'd presume we'd have a bit more energy, and Bristol were there for the taking, and I think we commented several times through the game, if you fancy taking points from anyone, it's these really. Not to say they're a bad team, because when they show up, and they didn't play real bad, but it just felt like we had a little bit more at times where we could have really capitalised on it, and we just didn't. Yeah. So yeah, a few players for them coming in clutch for them. The likes of John Dunbar, Jake Bricknell. They've had good games. So fair play.
Good games might be an understatement for Bricks, but
fair play to them. It was a frustrating watch for a Seahawks fan, especially towards the end of the game where it was all us and we was firing, it won't go, would it? The amount of times it crossed the net and we just couldn't get that final touch in. So yeah, and then obviously the final goal where we pulled the keeper and they've gone and scored from the other end of the ice, but no one really chased it, did they? Or was that the second to last goal?
No, so the last goal had sort of dumped it down the ice, obviously going for the empty netter, and it sort of bounced off the backboards and come back towards the goal line, and nobody seemed to want to get back for Seahawks and sort of left it. And Bricknell was just like, well, cheers then, boys, I'll just get in.
And it's not icing, is it?
I think you said, didn't you? It's not icing, is it?
No,
because
Bricknell got it first.
Yeah, so it was just perfect, because by the time it bounced off the boards and come back, I think it sort of rolled at the post a little bit and just dropped in front of the open goal. So he literally could have gone by and just gone like that, and he'd have still scored, and he was just unmarked, and nobody just wanted to get back.
You could argue it's good officiating that as well, because it's easy just to blow the whistle when you hit it long, isn't it?
That's it. The defensive team. But obviously starting well, we took the lead. You think, great start, business as usual. We're on for 2 points, and how quickly it collapsed. I think it was a minute and a half afterwards they scored on the on the power play. It was quite a nice goal, and then after that, I think between 17 to the 20-minute mark, they sort of unloaded on us and really put us in a bad position going into that second period.
Yeah, we give ourselves a bit of a mountain to climb, didn't we? Within sort of a 10-minute spell where they just seemed to get like 3 or 4 goals on top of us, and it just, from that point, you know, you've got to really work to just get back on level terms. I mean, we did, didn't we? We did. We ground it out. We managed to find a few goals. We got on level terms, and it felt like, right, okay, disaster averted, switch on and go. But Bristol being Bristol, they didn't really let up, did they? And they took their chances where we really didn't, to be honest.
Just it seemed like a bit of a catalogue of poor goals to concede. Like we say about the empty netter, there was the one, I can't remember who scored it, but he was behind his own blue line, skated the full length of the ice and just slotted it past the goalie. And I was just like,
Tanner Butler,
how's he just gone all that way?
And not necessarily in a goal-tending sense, where like Butler picked it up in his own D zone and not to be disrespectful, but he literally skated past the Seahawks like there was cones, didn't he?
Yeah.
And
it was like a slalom.
And then he leathered it top bins, and Geordie was just sort of like, you know, most keepers in the league would do the same. Was it's like, how am I meant to save that?
And then I think there was one. I think it was Ethan Hare. I think I said to you two boys, like, I don't know what he tried to do there. It's almost like a bit delicate, and he tried to play out his own zone. And the Bristol player was just like, "Thank you. I think this was Hare would want it." And then he's just literally one in front of Dima, and the release was that quick. Dima just stood there and was just like, "Well, what am I supposed to do with that, lads? You know, you've literally." So I mean, 3 poor goals that we've conceded there, either through, you know, not playing well, poor decision making, or lack of effort. And
that's it. And we obviously changed our keeper, didn't we?
Yeah.
Sort of after the first period, and I don't know. For me, it didn't really seem to be that much of an issue with the goaltending. It was more the fact that they was giving themselves.
I wouldn't have looked at Geordie after that first period and been like. I get in hockey, it happens when 3 or 4 goals go in, you switch keeper. I know that's a normal thing, and that's fine. But I wouldn't have looked at Geordie in that first period and been like, he played horrendously. Because, you know, he made some good stops, but like you say, that Tanner Butler goal was prime example of how I feel that first period went for Geordie, where he just got peppered. And how many shots are you going to take before you actually concede? It's a tough one to take for him. But I think like Matty spoke about it on Friday, and he said that the worst thing about the I really just don't want us to start slowly. And that seems to be sort of the habit that we're in at the moment, where we just start slowly. One of us said, didn't we? I can't remember who it was. It said we keep making giving ourselves a mountain to climb. I think that's what one of us said, in it, and it's a true reflection, isn't it? Because already you're 4-1 down going into that first period, and again, you know, they've got the capability to come back, and they did, didn't they? But I think Bristol being that team where, no disrespect to them, but they've had good leads this season, and they've like banana skinned it, and like other teams have points. In the second period, at the end of the second period, we was like, right, this is like, we need to go at them now, let's do it. But obviously, again, it wasn't to be, was it?
I think it was a bit of a weird one, because how many games have you seen where somebody makes a mistake and it's sort of like mopped up? Whereas last night it seemed like if somebody made a mistake, they scored.
It was a goal.
I know you said about Geordie there shouldn't have been pulled, but obviously, do you remember their goal where he come out and went around the back of his goal, didn't he? And dished it round, and their play quickly got there and snapped it straight back in. And I think it was unfortunate, but I think it was more of a, why has he done that? That's a bit of an uncharacteristic play, that. You know what I mean? I think that's what it was. It was a compounding. Just odd mistakes.
I wouldn't necessarily say that Geordie didn't need to be pulled. Like, after shipping 4 goals in the first period, you get it, kind of thing. But I mean, the scoreline reflects itself, don't they? I don't think both of the netties will come out last night and let them be like, I actually played quite well tonight. I think, you know, overall, like, it's hard to say that. I don't like bashing the netties, because I think they both do a good job, and I think Geordie's been in some real good form recently. But we didn't have a good night defensively last night. Let's just say that.
For me, I don't even think it's the worst I've seen us play.
No,
I genuinely don't. For me, I don't. We left and we was like, it's disappointing, but I aren't like fuming like, what have we done there? Why have we thrown that away? It was just sort of like, oh, we've had a bad night.
I can imagine coming away from Sheffield the other week and it was like 7-1.
That's what I'm trying to get at. It's like, I know, obviously Matty alluded to it and said like, we conceded 8 at home and it's unforgivable. Yeah, I do agree with that, but that sort of almost just brushed over my head. You know what I mean? I wasn't thinking
we was in it, weren't we?
After the game, you weren't thinking, oh my god, we've shipped.
I think if he was on the other side, if we'd have won that 8-6, you'd have still been like, oh yeah, we conceded 6, but you'd be like, we got the points, and that's all that matters at the minute. You know, I think it could have easily gone either way in that in that respect.
Yeah.
If he was on the winning side, he'd just be like, well, yeah, whatever, that's a bad thing, but come out with a win.
And I see where Matt is looking at it from, because he's like, well, probably thinking we need to control the games. We should never be in the position where we're having to pull our net.
We were just chasing it all night. That's the thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, a goal, and it's just it's one of them things. But I agree with you. Like, I didn't really come away from the game thinking like that is an absolute shocker. Don't get me wrong, we definitely didn't play our best hockey, but I also think it could have easily shifted in that moment where we got to, I think it was 5-5.
Yeah.
We got to 5-5. I thought, okay, we've turned a corner. Like, and you could see the momentum changing. It was only, to Bristol's credit, it was only them keeping themselves in the game at that point that probably took it over the edge. They gassed us out maybe a little bit whilst we was trying, and towards the end it was just a case of nothing's falling for us. We're trying to make the plays, it's going across the net, but it won't go in.
Yeah.
And then at one point we got that goal back, didn't we? And we thought, okay, we've got one to go and get, but sort of the story of the night was like, it was close, lads, but not
good
far
enough.
enough. Yeah.
I mean, I want to give a big shout out to Napier, their goalkeeper. So obviously I've been keeping an eye on him for a fair few weeks now and seen he's a decent goaltender. But to see him there, I mean, I think he had a real good night.
He's a giant, isn't he?
Yeah.
I didn't realise how big he actually was.
Yeah, he fills his now really
well. He's a big
well.
lad, isn't he?
Yeah.
And the scoreline probably don't reflect how decent of a keeper he is, because he made some really, really, really important saves.
There was times where he was being absolutely pounded. I remember there was like one where he had to literally dive out onto the puck. He had to make some real dramatic, energetic moves to go out and stop the puck. Yeah. But he just seemed to just be there constantly. And it's not the first time we've seen this. Obviously, Aldale from Sheffield, he had the same. Yeah. We're coming up against Weldies at the minute, and you can say it's bad luck, but there's got to be something else there. You can't play against Weldies every week, can you?
No. The level's just up to it. But it just sort of brings me to like, where do we go from here? Because I know we was talking before this, and we said like the upcoming weekend's probably going to be the real test for us. And out of the games you need to win, it's probably Sunday really, isn't it? When you look at the table, that we need to go and get the results from. But personally, I don't really feel like we're in the position where we need to change things on the ice. I think it is just we need to find our identity straight away from the off, and then we can control the game.
Proved that, haven't we? Like Romford, for example, away earlier in the season, we went and beat them like 7-1. There's from the first puck drop, there was that one there, and you are right in terms of that. But yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? I think before we obviously move on, I'd like to, like Azza, similarly give a couple of shout outs as well. First time obviously I'm quite blue to hockey, like I haven't been watching for years and years and years, but it's the first time I got to watch Josh Batch, and obviously I had his name a lot around the league and stuff like that. Obviously you will have seen him before and obviously I knew the name, didn't know the player, but he was a real leader for them, wasn't he? Obviously again the ship six, but you know, even the way like he sort of marshalled the team on penalty kills and stuff like that, I thought he was really good. Tanner Butler as well, like there's no wonder he was like one of the top. Well, I think he was the top scoring defenseman last year, wasn't he? But there's no wonder why, because he can move a puck, and he can play, like he can do both sides as well, which is quite hard to find. There's only a couple of names that pop into it, like Ryan Wells, for example, like who are really good, like both way hockey defensemen. I think Tanner Butler had a real good game. Bailey Howard, you mentioned him as well, didn't you? Like, he goes under the radar for me. I know he plays for the Devils quite a lot.
I like him,
but he's a real good player. And when Bristol can get him, he'll definitely change the team, and they did last night. But and then obviously the ones that you mentioned, like Dunbar and Brixie, need no introduction, do they? Like,
they're not mugs, are they? That's the thing. It's easy to think, oh yeah, they're down there at the bottom of the table towards there. You think, oh, they're mugs these, but as we said about Bison, they aren't. And if you give them a sniff or their sense blood in the water, they'll have you.
Coming out of this game, my predictors for them, in terms, when we do our NIHL predictors, are going to be a lot different, because the shot showed me this week
and
what they can do. They really did earn my respects, like from top to bottom. No matter what Seahawks gave them, they dealt with it and they came back. Like they never looked like they lost the red. They never looked like there was wobbling. They never was like on the back foot, being like, oh, here we go, boys. This is when it flips again and we're going to lose. Like they just kept coming at us, didn't they? Like they came out with a game plan, and He executed really well, so fair play to him.
From our perspective, though, I know you've just shouted out quite a lot of Bristol players.
Sorry, well, I think they deserve it.
They do. But from ours, I just want to shout out to basically all the lads that got on the score sheet, especially Bobby Chamberlain, Emil Svek and Johnny Cornell, because I thought between them three they really tried to make things happen last night, even when it won't fall in for us. Johnny was everywhere. He does all of the stuff that the gritty stuff, doesn't he? That really probably goes under the radar. That similar to Bonner, like he does that sort of stuff, but he was really trying to make something happen. And I know like there was a couple of moments where he was maybe even on his own a lot, but he was still like going for it and trying to make an opportunity or something. Bobby's the same, and Emmy as well was just his work rate seems to be like so much better.
It looks like he's fighting for his life. He's really going for it.
We might have come out the other way, like the other end of the result, but I think it's just almost doesn't reflect their performances. There was a few silly things there and here and there, but out of that whole roster that we watched, I thought, you know what, at least you're trying to make things happen. You're trying to create opportunities, and when you shipped a few behind, you sort of need that, don't you? You need players to take the weight, take the ownership of it, and go and make things happen. And they tried that.
Yeah, I think when you're paying for imports, you expect to see them on the points, don't you? And they were.
Yeah.
All
even
the imports.
Sobchak was on like three assists.
All of them was involved creating stuff. So at least you can see your imports are there, whether or not they're wholeheartedly playing their best effort-wise, yada yada. But at least the points are there. I'd much rather see my imports getting points and then just ghosting the game, because then you have got a problem, haven't you? Really? So maybe one to build on. I don't think it was as dramatic of a loss as it probably was portrayed to be. There's more important games coming forward, as you mentioned, coming this weekend, where we realistically should be in for points.
Yeah, that's our test, I think, this weekend coming up, not the weekend just gone.
I can't add anything more. I think, boys, I agree with what you said there.
Yeah, well, on that note then, onwards and upwards, and we hope for a better weekend the coming weekend.
Definitely.
Let's move on to looking at the other results of the week. So now we're going to look at the results of the weekend. Only Saturday and Sunday this past weekend, boys, so no Friday games. Sheffield will be happy, I'm sure. So starting with Saturday, 29th of November, Leeds Knights hosted the Romford Raiders. Leeds taking this one 3-0. Any surprises on that one?
A little bit. I think we've commented on Romford's scoring power recently, and that, like we've said about most teams now, they're no easy feat. That you can't write them off in any game, and obviously Leeds coming away with a shutout is massive for them, innit? Yeah.
Massive. And I don't think it was through lack of trying as well. I want to say that Romford had 44 shots on the night. So to say that they kept a clean sheet's pretty shutout, sorry, is massive, isn't it? Like that's it must be a real big confidence builder for Leeds, that.
Yeah, absolutely, agreed.
Yeah.
Second game on the night, Swindon Wildcats hosting the Telford Tigers. This one's 6-3 in favour of Swindon.
El Kitiko strikes back again for the third time in a matter of weeks, isn't it?
Yeah, Swindon doing well in these though, aren't they? And dominant again, it would seem.
Yeah, Swindon are sort of showing that they can play against Telford, who are notoriously a hard team to play against. And they're not just scraping it a lot of the time. They're winning and they're controlling the game and then getting the win. So fair play to them. I mean, I think we all probably went in favour of Swindon in this game anyway, just from form and stats and taking injuries and stuff into account. But 6-3 is no easy feat over Telford. So
this was one of those games where I think Swindon was maybe one game ahead, of everybody else in the table. So they only had one this weekend, but that 6 goals will be massive for them. Because I know we've touched on but maybe they score like 3 or 4 every game at home, but to then take it up to the next level and sort of dish 6 out is pretty nice. I know Malasinski had a pretty good night on this. I want to say he got maybe 3 or 4 points. So fair play to him.
For me, it's just obviously, I think it was the previous weekend where Leeds went to Swindon and beat them, didn't they, at the Link, and it was the first defeat at home in 10 or whatnot. So I think they won the next night after that, but they steadied themselves again and they showed a dominant performance there. It could have been easy for Telford to come in. They really need to just keep at it, especially with Leeds looking as good as they are at the minute. So good result on face value, that one. Third game, Bristol Pitbulls hosted the Basingstoke Bison. The Bison taking this one 6-5 in a shootout.
Yeah, I bet this was a real interesting game to watch. I mean, we've obviously said about Bristol and Seahawks reaction, and if you give them a sniff, they'll try and take the opportunity.
Yeah.
And Basingstoke have been on some really good form as well, and obviously they've got quite a few games still to catch up on, although that gap's closing. So we know Basingstoke was going to come out and want to get the win because they can quite easily end up mid-table. So 6-5 in a shootout, an extra point to point at the end of the day in a shootout's anyone's game. So Bristol must have really took it to them in this. But personally, I'm quite glad to see Basingstoke come out with a win because I'm really invested in that story at the moment with what they're doing. Obviously, the first year back, and I think people initially thought, okay, well, we're gonna walk over them, and for the first couple of games, it sort of seemed that way, didn't it? Like, oh, they're not really found their identity. Now they're a different story, and actually, people know that you can't go to there and take points easily.
Yeah, for me, for Bristol, they've scored 13 goals this weekend, but they've conceded 12, and it's a bit like you've scored 13, you shore up that back door a bit, and scoring 13 most weekends, you'd be
4 points.
Yeah, 3-4 points without a shadow of a doubt. So I think, there is a positive, but there's a negative side where they just need to tighten up at the back a little bit.
I agree. I think they'll be happy with at least a point out of this though, boys, because they're quite, like I said earlier, they're a bit prone to a banana skin where they'll let teams have the 2 and then they'll be thinking, oh, how have we let that go? So to at least get a point out of it and then last through overtime is you got to give them a lot better credit.
Yeah. So moving on, Milton Keynes Lightning hosted the Sheffield Steel Dogs. The Steel Dogs taking this one 4-3 in a shootout. So I think we guessed this would be a tight game, and it very much was.
Yeah,
definitely. I mean, Sheffield coming away with the extra point in this is massive for them. But again, Milton Keynes, they've probably been relatively pleased with their performance in this up to that point because they're coming off the back of a bit of a tough period, and to take it to that sort of depth with Sheffield is almost a testament to how much they're trying to change. But again, you've got to be disappointed we're not coming away, especially at home with the end result.
I think it's a massive result for Steel Dogs to go away. They've done this twice now, haven't they, at MK. But we do need to recognise how MK are on, like brittle bones at the minute. Which isn't an excuse. We can't excuse that. Like, every team suffers injuries. Every team's got to get on with it. Telford have took a massive loss with Caleb McPhee, haven't they? Yeah. And obviously their defences took a hit. So I mean, you can't feel too sorry for Milton Keynes in this sense. No. Like I said, they even called up Reece Edwards, didn't they, and a couple of the boys from D-Side. So shout out to Reece. But yeah, it's tough to see it for a team that won the playoffs last season. I can imagine it's tough to see for their fan base. Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's been a bit of a fall from grace, but I do think fair play to Tim Wallace for coming out and saying what he did, because I watched the interview after this game and he said he was really pleased with his team's performance considering what he had and stuff like that. And I think you've got he could have easily come out and like scathed them, couldn't he? So I feel like there's a little bit more to MK at the moment, and I'm sure they'll be really, really wishing for some players back here. So
yeah, absolutely. The final game on the Saturday, part of a double header, Solway Sharks hosting Peterborough Phantoms night 1. Peterborough Phantoms taking this one 4-3 in overtime.
I think you might have been close with this one.
I said when we saw this result, and I was a bit like, oh, I think I might have said this and said overtime. So if that's coming, I'm going to be quite chuffed with that. But yeah, real close game. I can't remember the full details about this, but I'm sure that it was a bit backwards and forwards, wasn't it? And up until the very final sort of minutes in this one.
Yeah, disappointing, isn't it, if you saw it. And obviously you talked about there being a double header, and it was a double header in Solway as well. So that for them, they was probably really thinking, okay, we need to get our teeth stuck into this, pardon the pun. And I think they did from memory to start off the game. So obviously coming away with an overtime loss is always a little bit disappointing, but at least they picked up the point. So
yeah, they took one.
Got to take the positives.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that wrapped up Saturday, so looking at Sunday 30th of November, first game, Basingstoke Bison hosting the Leeds Knights. Leeds Knights taking this one 2-0.
Shall we?
Yeah, I think it's fair to do it. Round of applause from us. Leeds Knights didn't concede a goal all weekend. 2 shutouts for the main man, Sam Gospel.
So
Notoriously a hard place to go at the minute, Basingstoke.
That's even more so.
8 to win and 2 to shut them out is some feat, so
Absolutely.
fair play to Leeds on that one. Unfortunate for Basingstoke. I don't think they'll be too disappointed by this, to be honest with you.
No.
You know, it's not being funny, I know they're playing really well, but it's almost like a free hit when you've got Leeds in town. You know, if they could have done something against Leeds, then
conceding 2 against Leeds, nothing to wince about, is it? Because at the end of the day, they could easily ship 6 or 7 past you without thinking about it. So I'm sure the scoreline doesn't actually reflect the game. Then I think it reflects Goss's performance, but to Basingstoke's credit, it must have been a bit of a tough one to keep them to 2. So their D's obviously done very well as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Second game of the night is the second leg, if you were. Solway Sharks hosting Peterborough Phantoms. Second night there, 5-4 in favour of the Peterborough Phantoms. 8 seconds to win this game.
I was disappointed with this one, boys, because Solway went ahead, and I was thinking in my head it's going to be a 3-point night, and I almost thought I'm going to hit my 2 points here. I backed Solway, obviously double header, and I do think that there was on for another 3-point weekend. And I think we touched before we started recording, didn't we, about Bolts and how he came out in the interview. We thought it was really like a bit of a classy one, wasn't it, the way he conducted himself in that interview. Basically holding themselves accountable a little bit, weren't they, and saying that, you know, they shouldn't have let that lead go. You know, they sort of went at Peterborough, which is exactly what you've got to do. And I think they just said that they need to sort of translate their performances into 60-minute performances rather than 40 minutes. So I think they will be disappointed with that one, but it was nice to see them get some bodies back. I know they've been struggling a little bit recently with injuries. They had 4 lines in this game, for forwards anyway, so I think hopefully they'll be able to start building up that form that we saw the last couple of weeks, where they took 3 off Swindon, for example, and remember a couple of weeks ago when there was a little bit on it. So it'd be nice to see Solway start building that back up. But again, we need to give Peterborough a massive load of credit as well, because the Shark Tank's not an easy place to go, and they've come out
4 points,
looking very nice, haven't they? 4
I
points.
thought, honestly, because I backed Peterborough for the 4-point weekend, and a part of me was a bit like, have I made a mistake here? But my faith in them has come good. And you can just see it with Peterborough, honestly, like that inconsistency, it's their best and worst enemy, to be honest with you, because you don't know what you're going to get. They'll either turn up at your place or you go to theirs and you're just thinking, which side are we going to get?
They always seem to be the team that's capable of winning these games, but like by the skin of the teeth. Like they don't give up right until the very end, do they? Whereas a lot of other teams might sort of take the foot off the gas a little bit, and or fatigue sets in. Peterborough just seem to tack it right.
It's very much like Swindon have done this season, just more consistently. You know, if Peterborough could do that more consistently, where they're eking games out and taking the 2 points, they'll be up there.
Well, exactly, and with this 4-point weekend, without ruining the league table too much, they've put themselves up to 4th. So, you know, they're always around that sort of mid-pack. We said, didn't we, that they sort of go under the radar, and they'll be happy to go under the radar, but a huge 4 points for them. I'm sure they'll be really, really pleased with that.
Absolutely. Moving on then, Romford Raiders hosted the Milton Keynes Lightning, and it seems like, not just the defeat with Sheffield, but this one, 9-5 in favour of Romford Raiders. It's caught up to them, hasn't it, really? You know, short bench, the second game, and they've obviously given it a good go, but as we've mentioned, Romford have that firepower. It might not have come out against Leeds on the first night, but has it come firing on this night?
All the more reason, eh?
9-5, you can imagine the fans can't you screaming we want 10 against MK, like...
Again, you can only play what's in front of you.
Prisoners,
in history, when you look back and you see 10 against MK, you don't worry about the circumstances. It's the fact that you did it.
You know what I mean? And let's not forget, boys, and MK give these a right good harding in pre-season, didn't they? I'm sure they beat him like 10-0. So this will have been a real sweet one for him. Bit of revenge.
Absolutely.
Before we move on, though, as you've got something to say about this game, haven't you?
Yeah, so I think it's... I don't know if I want to. Do I really want to?
You do want to.
Do I though?
You do.
I don't. No, believe in it.
No.
I ain't dropping myself in anything. We'll come to it eventually, I'm sure. We'll leave it there before I get myself in trouble. So the next game, Hull Seahawks hosting the Bristol Pitbulls, which we've covered. Bristol Pitbulls taking this 8-6, which we've obviously already covered. Not a great night for Seahawks. Not the worst thing in the world. We look obviously forward to the next week and hopefully try and rectify this. And the final game on the Sunday, Telford Tigers hosting Sheffield Steel Dogs, and the Steel Dogs taking it 3-2.
Yeah, I'm a bit gutted on this because I'm sure I went for Telford in this game just because at home Telford have got goals in them, so I think you might have done alright this week.
Yeah, I think again, I've gone for Sheffield Steel Dogs again. I think
Sheffield, it's real odd though, isn't it? Because they seem to go away and take points off Milton Keynes, Telford, some of the top ones, and then all of a sudden they'll have a little bit of a blip and they'll lose like something silly, and you think, how? They're a bit of an hard team to predict at times. At home, like I'd back them, but away, I'm just never too sure.
Yeah, they're a weird side, and like you say, as much as Sheffield could do Hull over a couple of weeks back, 7-1 at home, you were always like, can they do it away? Can they do it away? That's the next step. But they are starting to do it away. Yeah. And that's what will make them up there when they're fighting for titles and cups.
Definitely. That new import, Amanda's definitely come up clutch this weekend as well. Weirdly, it said Alex Aldale is just unavailable at the moment. Don't read into that what you will. He may well be, but yeah, I think it's Brady Parker, and he's come in and he's done a real good job. I think got man of the match last night, and yeah, to only ship 2 in Telford's a pretty good night, isn't it? So,
yeah, absolutely.
Let's not forget, boys, that a road 4-point weekend is a real good weekend, isn't it?
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, we said the same for Peterborough. It's only going to be the same for Sheffield as well, isn't it? Yeah. So let's look at the table. Starting with the league table first of all. Swindon still at the top, 21 played, 34 points. Second is Leeds Knights, 22 played, 33 points. So a nice little game in hand for Swindon still to open that gap back up. Third place sees Sheffield Steel Dogs, 23 played, 32 points. Fourth, as you mentioned earlier, Rossy, Peterborough Phantoms, 22 played, 25 points. Fifth, MK Lightning, 22 played, 23 points. Sixth, Romford Raiders, 22 played, 22 points. Seventh, Hull Seahawks, 21 played, 21 points. Telford now dropping into 8th, 22 played, 21 points. 9th, Bristol Pitbulls, 22 played, 18 points. 10th, Basingstoke Bison, 16 played, 16 points. And bottom of the pile is Solway Sharks, 21 played, 14 points. And you best not up in your gob like you did last week, because now I'm in the bar, I'll twat you. You thought I forgot about that. You thought I forgot. Yeah, don't want it. Yeah, so I think the surprise for me is Telford now dropping down the table after a great start. It looked like it was going to be a real promising season for them, and they've stuttered, and we said, it'll be alright, they'll come good, but they're really starting to struggle again now.
It was consistently up there for second and third, weren't they, for a long stretch, so I do think injuries have really affected them, and don't know what's happening with their boys going forward at the moment. Like, Tomo was scoring for fun, Henderson was bagging up, loads of them, weren't they? I don't know whether it's just a bit of a stretch of inconsistency
I think maybe it's just a little bit too much too early for them, and it's starting to catch up with them a bit. But the thing I can't, I notice is Swindon at the top of the pile with a game in hand over most teams as well. So 34 points, they can be on 36 points, which is 3 ahead of Leeds on the same games, and you just got to think like. Leeds are still chasing that top spot, and whilst you never count them out, the way Swindon are going about their business, it could really come down to their games.
I think so. Look what Leeds did the other week. I think Swindon have got to be looking over the shoulder now. Yeah. I know they've got a real solid start to the season, haven't they? And look at where they are, but Leeds will be. I don't know whether they'll sort of enjoy being the chaser rather than being chased. I think everyone would rather be in first position, wouldn't they? But it seems like Swindon have got to match everything that Leeds do now. Otherwise, they're right on the tails, aren't they? So it's starting to hot up that a little bit. And obviously, Sheffield aren't too far behind at all, are they?
No.
So it's really interesting.
And looking at the likes of Hull, table reflects us in 7th position, but we have got a game in hand on those in front of us, which, if provided we win, that brings us level with Milton Keynes in 4th, I think. So, we could potentially, end up being somewhere back up there, and that's why I think like you've got to let this next few games play out and then see where we're at, because if we play the same amount of games and we're sat in the same position maybe that's when you think, okay, we've got to try and turn this season around for ourselves. If we manage to pick up that game in hand in points and we're sat somewhere in the middle of the table again, or the top middle, we'll give ourselves an opportunity. And I think the minimum for us is to go for Final Four. I think that's what we expect at the start of the season. You think, okay, we need to get into the playoffs first and foremost, but we want to go for Final Four. And I think just getting into that fourth spot, if we can, towards the back end of this season will be big for us. So we just need to make sure we don't take our foot off the gas. Shall we go into the cup standings though?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so in the cup then, most teams are almost there now with the cup games. So Leeds have played 10 in first position and they're on 14 points. Then we've got Milton Keynes in second place, 10 played, 13 points. Peterborough Phantoms in third place, 9 played, 13 points. Swindon Wildcats in fourth, 9 played, 12 points. Sheffield Steel Dogs in fifth, 8 played, 12 points. Hull Seahawks in sixth, 10 played, 11 points. Telford Tigers in seventh, 10 played, 11 points. Bristol Pitbulls in eighth, 10 played, 9 points. Romford Raiders in ninth, 8 played, 8 points. Solway Sharks in 10th, 9 played, 8 points. And Basingstoke Bison in 11th, 7 played, 2 points.
So Leeds, the only team currently, I believe, that have definitely confirmed their place in the semi-finals. MK have played their full 10 games now, so they'll be looking over their shoulders, so to speak, at Peterborough, Swindon and Sheffield boys. What do you think? We to be fair to Peterborough, last week I counted them out. I was like, who's going to win the cup? And I didn't put them in. But actually, after this weekend and getting that really important win on the road to Solway, it could be MK that's dropping out. So maybe my question this week, boys, is who out of the remaining 4 do you see dropping out?
I think Milton Keynes would be lucky at this point to get in there and stay in there. The main reason they're looking at this is Peterborough, Swindon only need one more game. I don't know who that extra game is, but you can see that the game's outstanding. It's the top teams here against the sort of 9th, 10th and 11th, which I know doesn't always mean anything, but those at the top end of that table are probably the favourites, and they're thinking, at least we haven't got to go to a Leeds and MK to try and get ourselves in them as knockout spaces. So I think there'll be a lot of eyes on them just thinking, we could be in there. But it also could mean Basingstoke can take a few scalps and ruin a few people's cup runs here with them having 3 games, so they're going to have to play some of those top teams. Yeah,
I think provided Sheffield don't have them there in their remaining games, they should end up in the certainly the top 2.
Yeah. Well, that wraps up looking at the standings and the fixtures from this weekend. On to Team of the Week. And now we're going to look at our Team of the Week for this week. A few blokes that we're seeing quite often now, as some star performers are really doing it week in, week out as we sort of head to that mid-season point. We'll jump straight into it. I think this one's going to be a given really after the performance and the statistics in his favour. Our netminder goes to Sam Gospel of the Leeds Knights. A double shutout weekend versus Romford and the Basingstoke Bison, and 2 man of the match performances once again, meaning he's had 4 in a row now for Leeds and over 60 saves overall over both games.
What a phenomenal performer, man. I mean, you look at the rosters across the league and imports coming in and stuff, and he's still doing the business, isn't he?
But he's a humble guy as well. So we called him a couple of weeks ago when
almost
Leeds was in
annoyingly
town.
humble.
Come on, mate. That save that you made there was no right. It's like, right. Just admit just know how good you are. But we said over 60 shots overall. Obviously, there was a bit of a crash last night on the website, so it said 44 and 19. That was only up to the second period, so we imagine there was a few more shots in the third period for Gozzi, so it may have been upwards of 70 saves or 80 saves, so absolutely fair play to him, boys. He's had a world here.
Any shutout for a goaltender is get in, have it. But to get a double in a weekend,
get 4.
Just where's my bonus pay for this one? You know what I mean? You've got to be asking, what am I getting for this? Because I'm exceeding all expectations for these sort of performances. But
unreal, guys.
Absolutely. Congratulations to him and what he's doing there. He's at the forefront of the charge. Leeds are putting on the league title, isn't it?
Fair play to him.
Okay, so our first defenceman in this week's Team of the Week is another Leeds Knight, and it's Sam Dunn. So obviously we've all been aware of Sam Dunn since he's come into this Leeds night roster. Our first introduction to him was when we went to Leeds to watch Hull, and fair to say fit in quite well straight away. But he contributed to obviously a massive double shutout weekend again against Romford and Bison. We also asked a fair few of the Leeds fans, of their opinion, and nearly all of them mentioned Sam Dunn, so it felt really hard to keep him out having such a solid weekend, but he's consistently on that first line, and he's obviously contributed to Gozzy's shutouts as well, so I think as much as you can praise Gozzy for 4, you've got to look at what's in front of him as well, so fair play, well done.
He also grabbed an assist, so fair play.
He did grab an assist, you're right, yeah.
So this one, we've not seen many people mention this one, but I do think this one needs a shout out. So we're gonna go north of the border again. We're gonna go to the Peterborough Phantoms, who was in Solway this weekend, and we're gonna go for Brad Bowering. So they obviously had a tough weekend on the road to Solway in doubleheader, which we notoriously say, boys, is a really hard place to go. But he provided 2 assists on Saturday night in the 4-3 overtime win, including the assist for the overtime winner. And then on Sunday he scored in the 5-4 win against Solway to help wrap up 4 points for the Phantoms and to get them up to 4th place in the league. So fair play to him.
Yeah, I think he's a name that you see on the rosters every week. You know he has got the potential to put up some great performances and points when needed.
Definitely.
It was a great weekend from this one.
Yeah.
A great double away.
Yeah,
I agree.
Win. Moving on, and it is a Bristol Pitbull, and it goes to the guy who pretty much lived on this list last season, and it is Jake the Snake Bricknell. Really starting.
Feels good to him play one of the classics, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. He's really starting to recreate his form from last season, where he just seems to be scoring for fun and doing some disgusting things. And unfortunately, we saw that in person on the Sunday when the Pitbulls was against Hull. But on the Saturday night, he chipped in with 2 goals and 1 assist against the Bison, even though it was a shootout loss. But stepped up on a serious level on Sunday. 4 goals, 2 assists against the Hull Seahawks, and it was some really nice play from him. He was involved in everything on the night, wasn't he? Back to his best potentially.
Yeah, potentially. That's not right out. There's a bit of a way to go, but
they need it, don't they, Bristol? And if they can get this Jake Bricknell rolling, it'll be a problem. I think he's 1 point now off the first placed in leaderboard as well for statistics. So fair play to Bricks. It's not a mean feat, that, is it?
No. Okay, so moving on then, our next forward is Romford Raiders' Sean Miller. So we've talked about Sean, haven't we, numerous times, and the firepower he's got. Obviously Raiders had a bit of a tough night in Leeds against obviously a red hot Knights, but they still managed 44 shots against them. He didn't let that slow him down. Obviously coming into the Sunday, and we've talked about this in their 9-5 win. Obviously that's massive against Milton Keynes Lightning, regardless of you being short benched. Miller chipped in with 4 goals that night, and obviously showing signs of his form from last season. So, we also heard on the grapevine he dropped the gloves, which is unheard of.
Yeah, import fight.
Yeah. So fair play to that. All contributed to a man of the match performance.
That is quality. That.
When they needed to bounce back, they rely on their imports and people taking. That the reins really and leading by example, and he's done exactly that. I mean, he's had a fight, he's scored 4, and he's got a man of the match.
What more do you want?
Exactly.
If anyone's got the video, please send it across.
Yeah, please do.
We can't find it anywhere. Finally, we're going back to the Peterborough Phantoms, and this time it's Dylan Lawrence. So Dylan is one I feel that probably don't get as much credit as he deserves. Came from MK last season, he signed for the Phantoms, and usually the credit goes to the likes of Yanni and Ferrara and people like that. But Dylan had a really solid weekend this weekend. He scored 2 goals in the 4-3 win on Saturday night, and he also got the game winner and an assist on Sunday to again help Phantoms up to 4th in the league. So it's kind of nice to give a bit of credit to someone who isn't Yanni, because he's a jerk shop and
assist machine.
But obviously we'll give credit where it's due, and I think this time it's Dylan Lawrence is a good value for that, any boys?
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more. I think we've got a couple of honourable mentions here, haven't we? So first of all, Jake Bolton of Solway Sharks with a big 4-point, weekend for himself. I think you mentioned in their Sharks TV, interview, they was like, oh yeah, you've had such a good weekend, personally it's this, and he was sort of like, well, yeah, I don't really care, it's good, but it's all about the team, and unfortunately we didn't quite get the job done. So
yeah, I love the way he carries himself in that.
Love that mentality. Love that.
It's not because you could come out of that and be like, yeah, I was quality tonight, man of the match. Look at me with my goals and stuff like that. He was like, oh, you got in the scoring zone. He's like, yeah, I know, but we still lost.
He even said, I didn't even play that good, to be fair. And to be man of the match, it's fair, and it's good because it's easy to be like, yeah, well, I'm the top boy round here, I'm getting the points. Yeah, that you are bottom of the table. Whereas he's like, no, I don't sort of care about that at the moment. We'll go up the table and then we'll sort of, enjoy the personal accolades, but until then, it's all about the team, so I love that. And we've also got Tanner Butler and Josh Batch with their goals and assists, for the Pitbulls this weekend,
across
both
games as well.
Across both games there was class.
Really good. There was plenty in the Bristol team, weren't they? So yeah, not too bad.
What's up with you?
Well, I mean, I thought I was going to do the thing earlier, but you end up doing it. Just.
Do you really want to do it?
I really do want to do it, but as a.
Right, alright, well let's get into it then, because you're just going to keep crying, aren't you? So, as he tried to set me up in the last segment, about this Romford and Milton Keynes game, and we all know what's happened, don't we? We've all seen it by now, and people are like, oh, is it a naughty one? No, it's not, this, that and the other. And unfortunately, for you, Mr. Power, you are on the Slapshot Syndicate naughty boy list for December. No, do better. Santa is not coming to see you, son. You can still redeem yourself, though. Do an act of kindness, and I might rethink my decision. Are you happy now? He's had a bit of a telling off.
I am happy, thank you, Azza. Appreciate that, mate.
Throughout December, we're going to continue this naughty boy list. Don't get on it, is all I'm going to say. With that said, let's move on to our next segment. So now we're going to have a look at the upcoming fixtures and do our predictors as we normally do. But before that, it's time to reflect on the previous week. So Rossy, give us the scores and the doors.
Ooh, boys, this is our favourite part of the episode, isn't it? Every week, and bit of negative attitude from you coming into this.
Yeah,
not too confident.
No, definitely not. Like I said, I think he was my closest competition so far, and he's pulled a whirlie, I believe.
We'll soon
take it for what it is.
We'll soon find out. You don't know. As how are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I discussed with you two, I feel like on one of those Peterborough games, I think I might have been pretty much on the money. If not, I was certainly very, very close. So, yeah, I think I might have done alright this week.
Okay, well, I can reveal, boys, that 2 people got a perfect score this week. One of us did not. Before we get into that, though, let's do the previous scores on the doors. So, before this weekend, we had Brad, who was in last place with 66 points, closely following Azza with 68 points, and I was narrowly in the lead with 73. Okay, so one of us boys has scored 7 points this week. One of us has scored 10 points this week.
Wow.
One of us has scored 5. So, boys, a complete mixed bag this week. Complete mixed bag. So, the person who scored 5 points this week was Bradders.
Yeah, I thought I had a man.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Well, the person who got 10 points got every single game right, apart from 2, but got a perfect score. That person was Azza.
Yes!
Well done, Az. Azza got 10 points. You did predict the 4-3 win this week, Az. For Solway, you said a 4-3 but a shootout. So if you'd have said shootout, you'd have got even more points. But even so, mate, fair play to you. And then it's alright. And then I predicted Sheffield to beat MK 4-3.
Nice.
So I got 7 points. So the new scores on the doors then is we've currently got Brad in last place with 71 points. Azza now has 78 points. And I'm very, very narrowly in the lead with 80. So Azza is only 2 points behind me and he's after his throne that he held for so long. And that's that.
Brothers.
I need to find some at soon, don't I?
Do you know what though? On face value, I thought you'd like follow us a little bit. I only seem to remember you going, oh, I'm gonna swerve with this one. I don't remember you doing that a lot. I think there's only like 1 or 2 games, but I don't know.
And I'm struggling now to play this now because taking risks and stuff is even riskier.
The tricky thing for Brad this week was that he backed MK to beat Romford and Romford blew him out of the water. He backed Hull to beat Bristol. He backed Telford to beat Sheffield, which you would argue. Bison to beat, he backed Bristol to beat Bison at home, which you can sort of see. And you also backed Solway, so it wasn't like he was going like real outlandish with his predictions either. It was just, Romford beating MK, like no offence to Romford, but you wouldn't have really wrote that, would you? So, yeah, just a tricky one, but you'll bounce back, kid. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, now's your chance to try and redeem yourself.
Let's go again now.
So, the fixtures this weekend coming, we have a Friday again. It's not Sheffield, it is Basingstoke Bison hosting the Telford Tigers.
Bison 15-0.
That might be the reason there.
15-0, why would I get that? I'm taking that as a prediction.
No, you're not.
I'll start us off if you like. So I'm actually going to follow you, and I think Bison are going to take this one.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 3-2 to the Bison.
Yeah.
Interestingly, I am also going to do that. I thought you was going to copy my prediction. I'm going to go 4-2 to the Bison.
Yeah, I'm going Bison as well. How did you go?
3-2.
3-2, 4-2. I'll go Bison 5-3.
Oh,
nice. Fair play. Why not?
like it.
Yeah.
That's Friday's fixtures. Moving on to Saturday the 6th of December. Swindon Wildcats hosting the Solway Sharks.
Yeah, okay, well I'll go first on this one then. Swindon Wildcats, I think it'd be difficult to suggest anything other. I think it'll be a 7-3.
Ooh,
Go quite high on Swindon.
Nice. Yeah. Do you want to go next, Az?
Yeah, I'm going to go Swindon on this one, but I'm going to go 5-2.
Okay. Interesting. I'm going to also back Swindon. I'm going to back them 5-3. I think Solway have. I didn't say Salford then. I think Solway have a little more firepower in them nowadays.
Salford Wildcats.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Salford Wild Sharks.
That's got in trouble now, hasn't it? Like that one.
Salford Wild Sharks.
Next fixture, Basingstoke Bison at home again, and it is to our beloved Hull Seahawks.
This is an hard one to predict this fight.
You can go first.
Sorry to go first. Nice one.
He went first and I went first.
We've set him up nicely.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to go Basingstoke, and I'm going to back them again 4-2 to win. I think they're a different beast at home, Basingstoke. I hope I'm wrong. I really do hope I'm wrong. But I think they've done it to plenty of teams this year, and for Leeds to only go and get 2 last week, they've got to be doing something right, haven't they?
I said before we started recording, I was eyeing this one up, and I'm also going to go for the Bison here. I'm going to go for a 3-1.
Yeah?
Yeah, and I know it sounds bad that we are back in our own, but like you say, if we have a bit of a shaky one like we did against Pitbulls this past weekend, and going there is no easy feat, so yeah, 3-1.
Yeah, see, I really want this game to go the other way, but I've got points to make up, and I don't know if going against it is.
No, but hey, we talk about firepower though. Look what they went and did with Romford. Look what they did with MK. Could do it, Brad.
Yeah, I know.
And it could be a point that you get that we don't.
Yeah, I know, but I'm still gonna go for Basingstoke.
Fair enough.
At least if they don't get points, I don't either.
Yeah, but whatever you're saying, I don't give it.
How naive do you think I am to follow exactly why you put it
I'm going to do that.
So I'm going to go Basingstoke Bison as much as it pains me. 4-2.
Nice. Next fixture, Bristol Pitbulls hosting the Milton Keynes Lightning, and this is a tough one.
It's an absolute carnival list.
You've already said after this past weekend you're going to start changing your predictions with Pitbulls.
Yeah,
so with that in mind, you should be backing them. And to be honest with you, I'll start us back off, and I am going to back the Pitbulls here. I just, if MK still don't have the bodies back and the chasing numbers, I just think, you know, after seeing Bricknell doing what he was doing, Tanner Butler, as we said, I think there's lads in there that can think, ooh, there's another chance to here to get some goals and numbers up. I'm going to go for Pitbulls 5-2.
We don't know what the Lightning's going to have, so...
Yeah, it's a tough one in case they have to start calling people up again. I'm also going Bristol. People might be surprised at that, but I actually don't think it's that surprising that they're going that way at the moment. Bristol, what score did you go for?
5-2.
I'll go Bristol 4-3.
I'm going to back MK just on the off chance that they get a point. So I'm going to back MK and I'm going to back them 5-3. But I don't say that confidently. That is basically purely competition wise.
I think a good one to keep an eye on that game. You know, obviously we'll be at Seahawks at the time. We'll be watching Seahawks as that's on at the same time. But cast an eye on that one.
Absolutely.
See what's happening. Peterborough Phantoms hosting the Sheffield Steel Dogs. Again, potential for a real eye-watering fixture. This one, it could be all or nothing, as we've mentioned, for Peterborough. But you know, Sheffield's showing that they've got a bit of that away form about them as well.
Definitely. Physicality in this game, I reckon. Davy Phillips is back in this one as well. He's been banned last weekend and still went on the road when Wood didn't. So they're just getting stronger, it seems, which is crazy. I'll start us off if you want, and I'll back Sheffield Steel Dogs. I'll back them to win 4-1. No, 4-2. 4-2. Fan Lanza.
Yeah, I'm going Steel Dogs as well. My thought process behind this is like Solway give them a really good game, and I just feel like Sheffield are a much harder team. I think this goes in Sheffield's favour. It's at Peterborough, so I don't think it's going to be real high scoring. I'm going to go for a 3-2.
I'm matching him. I had my heart set on that. Sheffield 3-2. I was the same. I was like, I think Sheffield have got it, but I think it's going to be a real tight one.
We did it last week against MK, didn't they? So
I hope this comes in so we both get the max points. It'll be naughty, that, won't it?
Yeah,
the final fixture on the Saturday, Telford Tigers hosting the Romford Raiders.
This is another carnival list. You do not know what's going to happen.
Yeah, like you said, this could be a bit of a banana skin one, couldn't it? Because whilst Telford can be really good at home, also Romford can put points past you, can't they? So,
I'm going to go Romford on this, and I'm going to go for a 5-3.
I know what I'm doing already.
I'm going to back Telford. I'm going to back...
Rossy was going to go Telford.
I'm going to back Telford because they're due a bounce back.
They are.
They've got a tough game, haven't they, on the Friday against Basingstoke, but yeah, I'll stick with it. I'll go Telford, and I'm going to go for a 5-4, maybe in overtime. I'll go overtime because if it comes off, I might capitalise on the points.
Fair play.
Nice.
I was going to back Romford as well. Sad to say, because I do like Telford and I want them to do well, considering like the start of the season. I'm going to back them to win 5-2. What did you go for?
Something similar.
Did you? Did you say 5-2 as well? You didn't say 5-2, did you?
Me?
Me. It was something like 5-3, I think.
Was it? Yeah, 5-2.
Okay. So moving on to the Sunday, 7th of December. First fixture, the Sheffield Steel Dogs host the Basingstoke Bison. 4 o'clock.
Yeah,
Bit of an earlier kick-off this one, so keep an eye on. Like I say, we will play for another hour and a half after this, so we'll be quite deep into that game. So, what we're thinking?
I'm thinking this could be a very interesting match.
Just bear in mind, 1-0.
I know. That's what I mean. True. This is where Sheffield need to right or wrong. I think with the form they've coming on, they might just do that. So I'm gonna back Sheffield. I'm gonna go for a 3-2.
What are you saying, Az?
I'm also going to back Sheffield. They've done me good in the last week getting me 4 points and helping me out in the table. I don't know. Off the cuff, I wanted to say 4-1, and I don't know if that's daft knowing how good Basingstoke are defensively, but the big ice pad at Sheffield, I'm sure this is like their third game as well, Basingstoke this weekend, and I think on that big ice pad, third game of the weekend, they might be there for the picking. I'm going to stick with 4-1.
You know what, before you mentioned that, I forgot that there was playing on the Friday night and I was going to back Bison, so I appreciate that. I'll also back Sheffield then. I'll go for a 5-3 win to the Dogs.
I think it could literally be high or low.
Yeah.
It'll be one or the other, I think. Here.
They'll never go down. They'll never go roll over the Bison. To be fair, I could see him nicking a point or something here, but yeah, just shows.
Leeds Knights hosting the Solway Sharks at the Castle.
Almost seems unfair to Solway again that they've got this dirty road weekend of Swindon.
A dirty Leeds.
What
you was going to say?
Swindon. I was not going to say dirty Leeds. It's just a dirty road weekend of Swindon then Leeds. Just a bit rats that, innit? Yeah. But I guess they've had a couple of double home headers, haven't they? So
I'll go first if you want, because you're talking too much about it.
He's skating around, isn't it? If I keep talking, these will just jump in.
Just giving you some advice from the top man.
I'm going to go Leeds 6-2.
Heck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they'll take them to the side.
Unfortunately, I'm going to go through the same vein. I'm going to go for Leeds and I'm going to go 5-2.
I'm going to join you both. I'm going to do something I haven't done in any of my predictor, and I'm going to go for a shutout. I'm going to go 3-0 Leeds.
Fair.
Never predicted a clean sheet yet.
I think we should add an extra point for it if you guess a shutout or not.
Yeah, go on, and I think that's
extra point if you get a shutout. Yeah, I think one additional point.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
Bold, isn't it?
3-0 Leeds.
Fair play.
Romford Raiders hosting Swindon Wildcats. Rossy.
Ooh, I'm gonna
get your feet up. Not telling you it's a jargon to go for.
You know what? I'll just go straight for it then, shall I? Swindon Wildcats 5-2.
I was going to be on the similar sort of lines. I'm going to follow you. I'm going to go 5-3.
Yeah, I'm going to go Swindon 4-2.
Swindon to continue this winning ways and keep top of the table and with Leeds
close behind. You can see Romford being able to...
Especially at home.
They did last week. Rinsed them, didn't they?
Yeah.
So a tough one for us. Hull Seahawks hosting the Peterborough Phantoms. You know, so Peterborough having a tough game the night before. They'll still be in, you know, the area, if you would. I know it's not far away from Hull, Peterborough, but they're against Sheffield, and then...
You'd probably stop over, wouldn't you? Rather than going back to... Would you go, would you? I don't know.
I don't know.
It's not too far away, actually.
It's only another hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah,
it's only
2.5 hours,
in your own bed kind of thing, rather than accommodation.
I don't know.
Alright, well, I'll go first on this one. I'm going to go Seahawks. I'm going to back us for this. By no means an easy game, because obviously you've got to take into account what happened last time when Peterborough came, but I don't think there's a wrong to be right there, and for that reason I'll go Seahawks, and I'm going to go by 3.
I was really toying with this one, and like, I don't know, I'm because obviously I'll be shot if I say another defeat for Seahawks. I'm going to go for Seahawks on this one.
Shut
up. And I'm going to go for a 4-3. I do agree with you. I think this is going to be a goal game in it, or an empty net coming to it, or whatnot. So, yeah, Seahawks 4-3.
When I looked at this game, I thought of a scoreline straight in my head, and it seemed a bit far-fetched, but I'm going to go with it anyways. I'm going to go 6-5 to Hull Seahawks.
I just think like this game is one that really matters to us, because obviously league standing wise, for that game in hand we sort of need to get the points over Peterborough, don't we? And if you're going to do it, Sunday's the day.
I think you can go beat Bison as well the night before, they'll be full of confidence, because they're a hard team to beat.
They'll be bang at it.
So, but Peterborough by no means are going to be giving them an easy game.
And the final fixture, part of a double header, boys. Milton Keynes hosting Bristol Pitbulls. So obviously I backed Bristol at home here, and I think I'm going to do the same again here away at MK. I think it's going to be a bit close. I'm going to go for 3-2. Bristol.
Fair play. I'm
4
going to
point
back
Bristol.
Yeah.
0 point MK. I'm going to back MK, so I'm going to go 4 point MK. And I'm going to back them to win 4-2 at home.
See, I'm going to back Bristol. Solely on the basis that it's Milton Keynes' last game of the weekend, and if they're short bench, I just don't know how much thrall they're going to have.
Do like what they did against Romford and sort of blow out.
Yeah, I think Bristol can take them to deep waters as well. Like,
it's a good show.
Yeah.
What score did you go for? Do you remember? Was it like
same as him, 4-2, just reverse.
Okay, I'll go Bristol Pitbulls 4-3.
Some interesting calls we've made this week.
Yeah.
It'll have a make or break our week. We're in for a decent week, like you say. I think you followed me on some of them.
Yeah.
So me and you are either in for a stunning week, or we're going to be bloody bowing to the almighty Rossy at the top of the table.
No, there is some real tough predictions in there. Like, I think we're getting to that sort of meatiest like part of the season, aren't we, where these predictions are going to get higher because you've started harder because you've started seeing certain forms, but then you've also seen some drop-offs where you know teams have got the quality in them, but you just haven't seen it for a bit. Yeah. So you're waiting for a lot of bounce backs. It's hard to write anybody off, but you know, you go what's in front of you, don't you, and current form. So you're good. And
well, unfortunately, lads, it's that wraps us up for another week.
Yeah.
You know, it's been another quick one in my mind. We've had another good laugh. You managed to walk out of here, being able to use your legs after giving me grief last week.
Oh, behave!
But no, that's another episode in the bag, boys. You know, as per usual, thanks to everybody for joining in. I know we can be a bit idiotic at times with some of the stuff we come up with, but I think you do enjoy it when we're having a bit of a laugh while we're in here. But again, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, comments, sharing, liking, all that business. We'd love to hear from you guys as much as anything. You know, we've included your guys' opinion on the team of the week this week, and you know, we might be back out in the DMs and asking for opinions again. It's good to, like you say, get people's opinions, isn't it? Yeah,
it really is. We love the interaction with people, and also, you know, those people that are keeping up to date with, you know, our predictions and making their own predictions. You know, let us know where you stand on all of this, and you know, we would love to see your results. And if someone gets a blinder, like we've mentioned before, and beats us in a points sort of competition in a week, we'll give you a shout out definitely. So yeah, thanks for watching.
Anything for you?
Nothing to add from me, boys. You've covered it pretty much. Just a big thanks to everybody as well, as always, for the support. Really appreciate it.
And we'll see you all on the next week's episode.
Slapshot Syndicate, pure ambition. 3 mics, 1 mission. Azza and Rossy, yeah, that's the crew. Dropping knowledge, what you gonna do?